Hello, my name is Caden James. I've been away for a while. Wow, it's been 6 months since I last spoken to you guys. A lot has changed in my life. I actually had to ask Might Mouse Lisa what was my HCG YouTube channel name because I didn't know it. That's how far removed I have been. Broccoli piece. Good broccoli piece. Good broccoli piece. Mm-hmm. Now that you've seen me chew a little bit. Okay, what have I been up to? First of all, let's discuss a little bit the stressors that I have been under. And it's not an excuse, it's just what is. I am up 40 pounds since the last time I saw you. Yes, 40. I am up 40 pounds. I am 20 pounds under what I originally started HCG about 2 years ago, over 2 years ago. I have excuses. You can listen to my excuses, and I'm not going to be justifying the excuses. It's just I want to enumerate them. Okay. December of 11, I was fired from my job, and you know, being in Southern California. And the county that I was in was about, at that point, it was about, the way that the government numbers do it nowadays is about 12% unemployment in that area. And if you did it, the numbers, what they used to do, it would have been in the 18% unemployment area. So I was going against a lot of people trying to get a job, and I was wholly unsuccessful. For 9 months until I moved to Minnesota. During that time, I went to a cheaper protein source, eggs. Found out that I am allergic to eggs, and that's why I've had, for lack of a better word, mud butt. Okay. And me dropping weight was severely compromised because you put your body into a stress mode, and when you're in a stress mode, it is more difficult to lose weight. Okay, that's excuse number one. And being a guy, you kind of identify who. Part of what you identify yourself is, what do you do? A lot of people, the first thing that they ask you is, "So, Caden, what do you do?" Well, I sit on my butt on the couch and watch Montel Williams. I think there was some kind of psychological factors and depression issues that set in several months after not being able to even get an interview. During that time, between December of 11 and, I don't know, about April of 12, I probably gained 20 pounds or so. I finally landed a job back in Minnesota. So it didn't take a brain surgeon to figure out what I was going to do. So I visited Minnesota in August and was back September 5th is when I moved into my aunt's house. So it's like, "Aunt, I need to cash in all my nephew points. Can you please allow this guy to live in your basement?" So, left the family in California and moved myself out to Minnesota. Got the job, got used to the job, started looking for a home. Well, trying to get a loan on homes these days is just absolutely miserable, especially when you're unemployed for 9 months. It becomes even more miserable. Even though that my credit score was above 700 still after being unemployed for 9 months, it was extraordinarily difficult to find a home. I had another family member help me out with co-signing, and that became an ordeal in itself because this person owns a business, but a bunch of tax scenarios that just ridiculous, and that took about 30 days or so to process, and wanting to get the family out here and um, put an offer on this home and find out that it's air ducts that go underneath the cement slab are asbestos, and the tiles are asbestos, and all that's fixable. You can kick that stuff down the road, but the wife didn't want to have anything to do with it. And during that time, I'm working weird hours. I'm working anywhere from 5 p.m. until 6 a.m. And it's not an excuse, but if you work those hours, you tend to put on weight anyway because you're not totally sleeping correctly. Excuse number 1,209,000. And then my sleep schedule became a little bit off because they were maybe having to start work at noon and go to midnight, and that's fairly difficult to start trying to get on your routine, and also living in your aunt and your uncle's home and living in the basement and trying to use their kitchen for eating correctly. And my uncle is a good man. It's just he's hypersensitive on cleanliness, and just cooking and cleaning everything at that time and using the right rags, and he's heavily into recycling and having to separate paper and plastic, and it just became an ordeal where I just didn't want to deal with the kitchen. So guess where I started eating? Places where it serves your food with paper. Okay. As I was starting to eat more of, during this period, I found out that I was allergic from eggs, and it took a good 2.5 months for my body to basically return back to normal, where it wasn't having the symptoms of rejection of the food, and my stool returning to normal. It took a very long time, and it seemed like the more starch I ate, the rice and fries, the more stable my stool became. And what I do is, I'm not an office worker. I am not in the office near a bathroom all the time. And some of those days where it's just like, geez, am I getting that old where I just have to poop on everything? And it became even more stressful for that. But squirrel, what I was getting back to was it seemed like the pastas and rices were hardening my stool. And for me, I rationalized eating starches, carbohydrates. If it hardened my stool, it was one less stressor in my life that I didn't have to worry about. So, as we are trying to sell the home in California, and it's a short sale, it's $200,000. It ended up being $190,000 upside down in the short sale. I'm trying to get money to move out here, getting the family all situated and schools, and being away for my son's birthday and my daughter's birthday, and all those events. It became a little bit even more intolerable, where I would just come home and sleep 10 hours a day and then get up and go to work for 10, 12 hours a day, the routine. And the weight just slowly kept on going. And the home situation became even more difficult because the lender that we had became even more difficult. I put another offer on the home. Well, they're still saying yes to me and my co-signer, co-signer family member. And the night, it was a Friday, the night before we were supposed to close on the house, the bank said no. And here I've already put in motion the moving van, the move out here, etc., where it became even more stressful, where I just didn't really give a crap. And we were potentially having everyone move out here with no place to live. And we tried several different methods, VA loan, and XVET, and conventional loan with 20% down, and that even a 20% down loan became a little bit problematic. And the closing came, that passed. We asked the homeowner to give us another 10 business days, and that passed. And then it just became ridiculous. And what I was thankful for, that what they have given us was contract for deed, where I would pay a monthly and have an interest rate to them a little bit higher at the time. It was 20% higher at the time. And they agreed to that, but what they wanted is that there was a balloon payment in 12 months, which is 9 months from now. And what that did is it allowed me and my family to move in a home, and then I wouldn't have to move my children again, and then go from there. And it's thankful. It's good. A lot of the loan agents are telling me that I will be able to qualify for this home, and about another 3 months from now. So that's what's been going on. Last week I was sick, and I missed my second day of work, and they wanted me to go into the doctor to get a doctor's note saying that I can return back to work. To my surprise, I stepped on the scale. It was 320 pounds. When I started this HCG diet 2 years ago, where I went from approximately 340, because that's all my scale went to, and I got all the way down to 260 at my lowest point, which was phenomenal. I really started looking good in my shirts. And but the biggest kicker wasn't the 320 pounds. It was my blood pressure. 3 months, I had a physical 3 months ago, and I was about 30 pounds lighter 3 months ago. And my blood pressure was about 127 over 88 or so. I've been doing a little bit more salt, and since I did have, diarrhea last week, I'm not really hydrated, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the blood pressure. But the blood pressure, the first reading was 157 over 99. Me being a 45-year-old fat white guy, that's just not acceptable. So that was yesterday. Today, I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a modified HCG diet. I'm not going to be taking the HCG, the HCG, the homeopathic. One, I can't find it, and two, I'm not going to be getting injections every day. I'm just not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to be doing is a lower calorie diet. However, the activity is going to be up a little bit more, and I'm going to be juicing a little bit also. In the morning I'm going to be juicing, and then I'm going to have a protein and a low carb vegetable, that kind of thing. It's going to be basically P2 foods, except for some fruits, and that's going to be going into, it's that thing that you see on late night TV, the bullet, where it blends everything together, the spinach, the fruits, and that kind of thing. And then I'll have flax seeds and chia seeds in there in the morning to get my omegas, and we're going to go from there. So it's been a long time. I have neglected what I should be doing for myself and my family. My bio father died about a month ago from heart issues, but it wasn't what you would normally call fat-related heart issues. He was in the Vietnam War, and he finally got some disability, and the military recognizes about Agent Orange. So anything that is medically happened to him, I'm not sure that I can really count toward myself. So this is going to be my journey. I'm not expecting the weight loss that I did on HCG. I think the first week I did 2.5 years ago was about 16 pounds. And it was interesting to start on the scale at the time that I had, where I'd be on it and it just read air. Air means you're too fat for me to read you. And then at the end of the first week, I got on the scale and it actually measured me, which was a wonderful relief. So I'm going to be starting this process. I'm not going to really dictate, am I going to do it once a week like I did, or the funny stuff. I don't have time to do that stuff because I'm working so much more hours than I did before. My wife isn't working yet, so it is what it's going to be. I will discuss, at the time what's going on, and it is what it is. So my name is Caden. I gotta remember what I used to say. Live, love, learn, grow, in that order. Bye-bye.